in Calgary. We've just had an amazing Pride Festival, and I'm on my way to the big football game, the Labor Day Classic. And speaking of sports and speaking of football, I'm joined this morning by one of the great Canadian athletes. I'll fight you if you disagree with me, the greatest Canadian to ever play the game. But more important, a tremendous Calgarian, an incredible citizen, someone who works hard for others every single day, one of my favorite Calgarians, Jon Cornish. We're here in the Simmons Building in East Village. Three great local businesses who cohabitate in this space, Phil and Sebastian's, Char Bar, and Sidewalk Citizen Bakery, in this neighborhood that has gone through so much revitalization. And I thought this morning we could talk a little bit about neighborhoods, the future of Calgary, and maybe a little bit of sports and arena.
I like it. So we're in the East Village now. 10 years ago, it looked nothing like this. What's changed?
Well, it's completely different. You know, this cul-de-sac we're standing on, this used to be a gas station. There was a lot of crime, there was a lot of kind of bad behavior going on. The low-income seniors who live over there were scared to go outside. They had to go to the laundry room in pairs. And so the city did a lot of work using a really innovative mechanism called the Community Revitalization Levy to build up the infrastructure to attract private investment. The reason I wanted to bring you to this corner, though, is to highlight how public institutions can really be the core of building a new neighborhood. So right behind us, we've got the new Central Library, which is going to be on postcards of Calgary forever. Directly across from us, we have Studio Bell, the home of the National Music Centre. And these kinds of investments from the city helped attract over $3 billion in private investment.
Really nice. And this place right here, container, what's all this about?
This is cool. One of the things that this place was really missing as we're building it out is places to shop. And so we created this temporary container park with local businesses, everything from Lululemon to the Apple Lady, who are able to sell their wares here so people can shop in their neighborhood. And coming up soon, we're going to have a major retail development just north of here, including a full-service supermarket, the first one we've had in downtown Calgary in a long time.
So we're here somewhere in Calgary. I'm looking around, I'm not seeing too much developed. What's the plan? What are you doing here?
The reason I wanted to bring you to this random parking lot is to just talk a little bit about the next phase of development of East Calgary, which is the Victoria Park area. So right behind us, we will have a brand new C train station on the Green Line, the 4th Street train station, and I think that's going to really allow us to think about redevelopment in Victoria Park in a big way. And what we've learned from the East Village is you can't just put one thing in place and make it happen. So when you look at the Saddle Dome now, there's not a lot around it. It didn't spur development. And so if we want to have great development in Victoria Park, it means an expanded convention center at the BMO Centre. It means more people living nearby and restaurants and retail and hotels nearby. It also means a broader view of the neighborhood and refurbishing Olympic Plaza and the Arts Commons. And that's why I think that a potential new arena could fit really, really well as part of that vision in Victoria Park.
The plan that we have for Calgary next, for the West Village, you know, I've heard different things. Is that not a goal? What's happening with that?
I think that putting the arena in East Village and also figuring out a field house answer in a different way makes more sense. There's a bunch of challenges with the West Village. There's creosote on the land. It's going to take years to clean up and a lot of money to clean up just because of the size of the problem. It is great that all the talk about Calgary Next kind of forced some action on that, which is terrific. And the scale of the arena, fieldhouse, stadium all together really would overwhelm the local infrastructure there. So we think that the cost of that, the owners of the Flames and the Stamps think it's about $1.4 billion. The city thinks it's $1.8 billion. What's $400 million among friends? It's just too huge a scale. The good news is that with all the investment that's happened on the east side of the city, I think that there is a better opportunity for the arena in downtown Calgary on the east side in Victoria Park. And all we got to do is make the right financial deal in order to move that forward.
So you're saying you want the Flames to play in a new place, it's just the terms of that are yet to be discussed.
Yeah, I think a lot of us would be very excited about a new arena. And making that happen. But it has to be a deal that makes sense for the Flames, but it also has to be a deal that makes sense for the public. And we are a very different place than Edmonton, for example, in the deal that they made, which a lot of people are debating about to this day. But I believe that with cooler heads and thoughtful people at the table, we can come to a win-win that involves public investment for public benefit, but also private investment for private benefit. And we'll figure out how to make that work.
But for me, being part of the Flames, like it's important that we get something going for them. Like so what we
You know,
talk about there?
a lot of people think, oh my gosh, the mayor doesn't want an arena at all. It's not true. You know, the Flames and the Stampeders are a hugely important part of our community fabric. I don't need to tell you that. You understand this. Everyone understands this. But we also have to make a deal that is fair for the taxpayers, particularly in these tough economic times. You know, the Edmonton deal was a deal for Edmonton at that time. But if we did something similar here, the Edmonton deal is entirely based on property taxes in their downtown going up, and those taxes going to pay for the arena's debt. The challenge we've got here is we've got 30% downtown vacancy in Calgary. And if we end up building a bunch of office towers out there, it just means more empty office towers. So that's not going to work. We got to come up with a more creative solution, a more made in Calgary solution. The city's at the table. I think we've got some fair offers on the table. I think the owners need to really think about what's a win for them and what'll happen. But I'm really confident that cooler heads will prevail and we'll end up with a win-win that makes sense for the taxpayer but also makes sense for the owners.
Because I really believe that like Calgary sports teams are part of the fabric of our city, and you know, helping them I think really will help other people, because I think there is something about team spirit and that kind of stuff that actually bleeds out into the community, and then you see different things happening. When we have the Green Line come in, what do you think that's going to be in terms of playing a role for the development of Victoria Park?
Well, I think this is going to work out really well, because Victoria Park will be one of the few neighborhoods in Calgary that's served by two lines. So you'll have the red line as it currently exists on the west side and the green line on the north side. So if you have an arena there, you actually have it served by two different lines, which will ease congestion. I think be pretty cool. But the other interesting thing about the placement of the green line is it's closer to the tracks. So it'll be a 2-block walk to our proposed arena site, which sounds bad, but actually it creates a really great spine for restaurants and retail, a really exciting outdoor environment for people. And I think that'll actually really be the cornerstone, the spine of redevelopment in the neighborhood.
Well, I like that.
What could be better just before the Labor Day Classic than talking sports and community with Jon Cornish? Jon, thank you so much for taking the time. We got a football game to get to.
Let's go. Thank you very much, Dee.
Go Stamps.
Go
Oh, wait,
Stamps.
I have one more question. Who's going to win the Grey Cup?
Stampeders. Who's going to win the election?
You tell me. Hopefully me.